Hi, my name is Roslyn Manning, and I'm an English teacher at Oldham County High School, and I am going to talk to you a little bit about Google Drawings today. So if you would like access to my slides that I have here on my screen, you can get them with this short bit.ly link. It is case sensitive, so you want to make sure that you capitalize the D in drawings and then capitalize DLN as well. So you can use those on your own screen as you're listening in. I'll be switching between my slides here and my browser window just to show you more specifically how to do a couple of things. So Google Drawings is a tool that when I first heard about it, I was not interested in learning about it. I just am not very artsy, and anything with the term drawings in it usually turns me away because I've just kind of learned that I'm not a good drawer. So when I finally decided, okay, I'm going to try out Google Drawings, I'm going to see what this is all about, I fell in love with it immediately. And so it's one of my favorite tools to talk about and to show people how to use and to really immerse into my classroom as well. So again, you can flip back and forth between this video and my slides. You can have access to them here, and it's a view only file. So when you click on it, you'll just go to File and Make a Copy to have access to that in your drive. So what is Google Drawings? Google Drawings is really just an online visual tool to create visuals and interactive tasks for students. I've used this to create visuals for students. I've created templates for them to actually manipulate materials. And I also have lots of ways that I use this in my classroom really just for my own use. And I'll talk about some of those as well. A lot of what I learned about Google Drawings came from Eric Kurtz at Control Alt Achieve. So right here, I just have a link to some of his materials. It is a really, really awesome how-to guide for you. And I've also got a lot of his materials and other educators' materials kind of embedded within this presentation as well. So I highly recommend that you use his how-to for Google Drawings as well, because that's really how I learned a lot about the tool itself. So in order to access Google Drawings, there are a couple of options here. You can go to your drive and you can click New, but you'll see it doesn't show up under these most popular Google tools. You'll need to go to More and then go to Google Drawings, and it will pull up Google Drawings for you. You can also, in another tab, go to drawings.google.com, and it will create an untitled drawing for you. So it is untitled, so you want to make sure that you are giving it a title so it's easier to find. So I'm going to put Drawings DLN. You will see this default page setup here. In order to change that page setup or the size of the page, you'll go to File, Page Setup, and you have some options here. This is the standard 4x3, but you can also do a 16x9, and I love this one because it gives you, this is the default size for Google Slides as well. So this will help you create background slides, like if you're going to push things out for kids to edit and you don't want them to change or manipulate the background, you can change the background in Google Drawings and apply that to your Google Slides, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But for our purposes here, I'm going to go to Page Setup, and I'm going to do a custom size because maybe these other sizes don't work for your needs. You can customize it. So I'm just going to change it to 8.5 by 11. Maybe I want it to be the size of a computer paper. So that's how you would change your background, or I'm sorry, your the size of your paper. So to change your background, what you see here is just this checkerboard. And basically what that means when you see that is that it is currently transparent. And so if I were to save this as an image and apply it to a paper, it would basically just be clear, right? So we can change this background. You can change any solid color that you want to, maybe a light blue color. Or if you don't really like the light blue color, you can do, this is my favorite part, you can do a gradient. So The gradient might look like this, or if you want your gradient to have different colors, this is where it gets really fun. I've spent hours doing this before. So purple is my favorite color, so we'll just start there. You can add gradient stops. And so what that means, I'm going to hit add, and it's automatically going to put a stop right between the square here and the square there. So I'm going to add another color. We'll go yellow. Okay, so maybe I would like to have another one. I'm going to add another one, and it will go between this circle and this square. So we'll go light blue. And actually, I'm not a huge fan of this bright purple. So I'm going to click that square, and I'm going to go ahead and change it to this color, okay? But I've got one here. I love symmetry. So I've got one here. I want another one over here. All I need to do is click on this square on the left and hit add, and it will give me one right between this square and this circle. And so I'm going to do that blue color here as well. Okay, you can make it radial, so it's like a circle, or you can do linear like this. Okay, you can even change the direction of that linear line. Maybe I want it to go up and down. But I'm going to do radial. I kind of like the circle. You can change where that circle begins. So maybe it's in the top left, and you can see that the circle goes like this. So I'm going to go with that. I like it. So I'll hit OK. And then it shows up as the background of my Google drawing. Maybe you would like an image as the background of your drawing. So you could insert image, and you have some options here if you have some pictures already on your drive or in your Google Photos. I'm just going to search the web for something kind of random. We'll go flowers. And I'll click this one, it's pretty, and hit insert. And I'll drag it to the center. You see this red line up and down in the middle. That lets me know that it's center aligned there. And I'm going to keep dragging until I get the horizontal red line. And now it is in the middle. So that can now be your background, that flower there, and you can see that I've got all these other, this other background with the gradient as well. The picture just doesn't fit really well. But you can insert any image like that as your background. Some things that you can do in Google Drawings. One of my most favorite things, and this is a new feature, you can integrate, or there is integration with Google Drawings and Google Docs. So one of the new features here is that in your Google Doc, you can insert an already created drawing. And this is fairly new as of about February, I believe. So I'm going to go to this Google Doc just to show you. I can insert, drawing, insert from drive, and you can see that I will click here, drawings DLN. And I can link it to my source, which means when I insert here, it has the drawing as I've already created it, okay? But when I go back to the drawing, let's say I make a change to it. I'm going to insert a text box, and I'm going to put this here, insert my text box. This is my sample drawing. Okay, so this is here. In the Google Doc, you'll see it shows update. I can click update, and it automatically updates the changes that I just made in my Google drawing. So I really like this feature. It is new, but it's great because you don't have to download your Google drawing as an image and then insert it into your doc, which is what you used to have to do to get your drawing into your Google Doc. So I love this new feature. You can also create a drawing in Google Docs. So I'm going to show you this again. I'm going to go to Insert, drawing, and then I'll just click new, and it brings up this window, and it doesn't have all of the features that the real Google Drawings has, but it has a lot of them. So I'll do a background here. I'm just going to choose like a pastel yellow background, and maybe I want to create we'll say a Venn diagram for my kids. So I can insert a shape, and I'm actually going to make this transparent. So I'll do a transparent circle, and I'm going to copy and paste it just so my circles are the same size. So I'll Control C and Control V. And this red horizontal line just lets me know that my circles are aligned correctly. So I now have a Venn diagram. I'm going to hit save and close, and then it will show up in my Google Doc like this. And if I ever want to edit it, I can double click it. It'll pull the window back up, and then let's say I want to do a text box. Save and close, and it updates the drawing like that as well. So I love the integration between Google Drawings and Google Docs because it makes some things a lot easier. One thing that's important to note here is that if you were to create a document like this and push it out through, say, Google Classroom to make a copy for each student, when you do that, this Google drawing, the one that you created within Docs, they will be able to change their own. So they can double click this and they can make changes and hit save and close. However, the one that you inserted from Google Drawings that you had already created, this is actually, you'll see inserted as an image, like image options. You can crop it. You can do some of the other things that you can do with other images. It does not embed as a Google drawing. So when your students get this through Google Classroom, this is inserted as an image. This one is inserted as a Google drawing so they can edit this one. So I'm hoping that in the future, Google will make that change where this can embed as a Google drawing. But for now, it's not. It's just embedded as an image. But I really, really love this Google Drawings, Google Docs integration. Okay, so one of my absolute favorite features of Google Drawings is the ability to insert diagrams, and this totally blew my mind when I found it. So I'm actually going to come back to my drawing, my original drawing. I'm going to delete everything that I've got on here because I want you to be able to see it. I'm even going to change my background to like a gray background, okay? So I'm going to go to Insert Diagram. And here I have all sorts of different diagrams. This could be really cool, say like this cycle one for science classes that maybe you're looking at a life cycle or a water cycle or something like that. So I'm going to click cycle. These are all categories. So timeline category could be great for English or history classes. But I'm going to click cycle just to show you this one. So these are categories. Once I click it, I have other options for the type of cycle that I might choose. So I'll choose this one. And once I click it, it automatically inserts in here. So to change the size of it, I'm actually going to use my mouse, and I'm going to click over in this bottom right corner and select everything. I'll select everything so that all of these boxes, you'll see these little boxes and arrows, they're all actually individually created. So in order to change everything so everything fits to scale, I'll select it all and I'll use this blue box and click and change it that way. I might change it this way. So it changes all of the pieces of that diagram at the same time. I'm going to delete this just so I can show you a couple more things. So up here, you can change the number of steps in the cycle. Maybe one of the cycles that you're studying has 4 steps, and perhaps you want to change the color. We'll go with red. So all of these will now be red. I'm going to select this one. And again, to change the size, you'll just select everything and change it like so. All right. And now, in order to change the text in here, you'll click wherever you want to change this, and I'm going to type phase 1. You'll notice it's really small font. I'm just going to highlight it and make it, we'll say 18, size 18. And you can do that for each of these text boxes up here. Example. Whoops. Example. So again, I'm just going to make the font bigger so we can see it. Okay. And this is really great. I actually had my students use Google Drawings to do infographics before I realized that there was this diagram feature. And so in the future, when I have them create infographics, I will show them this diagram feature so that they can use that to make more visually appealing infographics. But the diagram feature is amazing and totally blew my mind when I found it. Another thing that I've had my students do with Google Drawings is create memes. And so I have on my slides here a link to a copy of a meme template. I did not create this. I found this online because I was looking for a meme generator, and pretty much everything that I found was completely inappropriate for school use. And I thought, surely there has to be another way to do this to keep it school appropriate for my students. So this is a copy of a meme template that I found. It's a copy file, so when it shows up like this, you'll just hit make a copy. And it should make a copy for your drive. You will see that this background is transparent because what you're going to end up doing is dragging one of these images over into this box so that it can be your background. And there are instructions over here in the left-hand column. I used this for vocabulary. And so I had my students create memes with their vocab words. And so you might, you would have students take this image, drag it over, and align it. These red lines just mean that it is aligned to the edges of the page. And I'm going to drag this so that it fits my page. Now you'll see that the background is not really a background. It's over everything. So you'll have to make sure to tell students to right click and go to order and send to back. And then the text shows up over the picture. And then they can double click here. It's a word art, so they'll double click and they'll type their font here. This is my sample meme. Nailed it. And then they can change where the font is located. They can even change the size of it and move it around like that. But that is how they would create a sample meme. And the best part about this, like when they save this as an image, it only saves the meme part, okay? So I'm going to delete or move this image just so I can show you what I'm talking about here. But all of this outside of the page is really just a great blank space for you to put instructions or make drag and drop templates, because basically the only thing that shows up in the drawing is where you see these checker boxes. Anything inside this border here is part of the Google drawing. Anything outside of it is not part of the Google drawing. So I am going to drag this, and I'm actually going to show you what this is going to look like when you download it. So I'm going to go File, Download as PNG Image, just so you can see, and it'll download here. I'm going to open it up for you, and it will look like this. So you notice the instructions didn't download, and the extra images on the right-hand side did not download either. So I'll exit out of that. So my kids have really, really loved the meme templates. We don't use them a lot because I don't want it to be overkill, but when we do use them, they do really enjoy them. Some other things that I have on my slides for you, just some pretty basic ideas. This here is this link to the graphic organizers is a folder from Eric Kurtz that he shared. And I'm going to click on it. I won't click through all the templates, but you'll see it has some incredible resources for students of all ages and classrooms of all content areas. So a lot of this is drag and drop stuff. You've got Venn diagrams. You've got some math stuff here. I mean, this folder will be very, very valuable to you if you take some time to look through it. I've used this Frayer model for some vocab work as well. So I highly recommend clicking on this and adding it to your drive because it can be very useful to you. And so I have also used these comic strip templates with my kids for them to go in and do comic strips from book characters and that sort of thing. I mentioned earlier that I've used infographics with my students, but I wish I had known about that diagram template or diagram feature before I did infographics because I think they would have been amazing. I've also got a YouTube video for how to do infographics in Google Drawings as well. Some of my other ways that I really like to use this as a teacher, Google Drawings as a teacher, is to create a seating chart. I go ahead, I set up my classroom and my desk like this in Google Drawings, and then when I'm ready to change, I just double click these shapes that are in there and I type a name in and I change all the names like that. It's really easy to use and it's really easy again to print out to put in my subfolder as well. And really, really easy to change. So I love this feature with seating charts. Customizing Google Slides backgrounds, I showed you earlier. I'll go back to my Google Drawing. I'm going to delete this whole thing right here. And then I'm going to file page setup 16 by 9 and hit apply. So if I want something to be permanent for my Google slide background, because a lot of times I will push slides out to students with editing access. And so I want to make sure that some things just stay on the slide. So I'm not going to put anything on here, but you would file, download as PNG, okay, and it will download as an image. And in your Google Drawings, you can right click, change background, and then I'm going to choose an image from my computer, and since it's in my download bar, I'm just going to drag it over. And I'll hit done, and you can see that my background turned into that gray background. It's nothing special because it's blank, but one way that I do that is I create bell ringer slides, and I have the same background for all of my slides every day with my agenda and upcoming tasks, their bell ringer, and their learning targets for the day. And so I just copy and paste that onto, or copy and paste my slides, and I use that every single day. So that's when I'm going to fix that. Okay. So you can also customize your Google Classroom image at the top, that banner. And I got this template from Alice Keeler. It's really easy to use. I've got some instructions here. You'll want to make sure that you download it as a PNG image as well. And then in Google Classroom, I've got some directions here for how to upload that as well. You can do the same thing in Google Forms, and I've done this. I try to make my Google Forms relevant to whatever the time period is. Like if it's spring, I might want to have some springy flowers or something like that. If it's winter time, I might have a Google Forms background with, snow or something like that. And I like to make it kind of fun for the kids that way. So you can do that. All of the instructions are here on these slides. And then I've also got some other helpful resources here as well. More information from Eric Kurtz, got some great a great cheat sheet from Casey Bell. And so I've got all these resources here. And I really, really love Google Slides. If you want to talk to, or Google Drawings, Google Slides too, but especially Google Drawings. So if you want to talk to me a little bit more about Google Drawings, I'm happy to talk to you, message back and forth. We can email as well, but you can reach me on Twitter at Mrs. Manning EDU. And I would love to talk to you about Google Drawings and give you more information on that as well. So I hope that this is helpful to you, and I hope you learn to love Google Drawings as much as I have, because it has been wonderful for me. So thank you so much.